things are looking good, real good. This is even better when you consider all the negativity that's out there. Yes, a lot of negativity. Let me show you. Look at this. CNBC right now, despite the fact this is a surprise, all the futures are in the green, but look at the headlines. Okay, three very negative headline right on the front page. First of all, weekly jobless claims comes out, surges higher than expected. Okay, obviously, when a lot of people are out of work and this number is higher than expected, that's no good. So that's number one. That's never a good thing when you have more people that are sitting at home, not working. Number two, you look at someone like McDonald's, largest sales decline since 2020, since COVID. That means it makes sense since people are out of work, people are also spending less. This correlates with a lot of the reports that we, heard from companies like Pepsi and Coke and P&G and others that have reported sales are declining and they're forecasting weaker sales as well, right? And then look at this. U.S. Chamber of Commerce asked Trump for tariff exclusions because they think a recession is around the corner. And that's not the end of negative headlines. Here's another one. China exports to U.S. plunge as tariffs hit, leading some experts to warn of product shortages. Yeah, that's right. If we don't solve things, we will, in the U.S., have a boatload of shelves that will be empty, just like 2020 days, right? So all this, all the negativity, everything, is actually driving Bitcoin upwards. That is awesome. That is why times now is a little bit different than before. This is what we've been waiting for. This is a turning point for Bitcoin. This is actually now the time when we could say people are actually turning to Bitcoin because of distrust in governments, in money, in inflation, in all the other things, right? This was the reason why Bitcoin was created because of all these things. We never saw Bitcoin really stand on its own. It was always correlated with US markets, always correlated with tech, always correlated with, everything else. But whenever things got rocky or volatile, Bitcoin went down with it. But now Bitcoin is standing on its own and it's super strong. And it looks like we are ready to go even higher, right? A lot of people are starting to pay attention. Look at this headline, positive headline. US recession turning a tailwind for Bitcoin. We're starting to make that change, right? Weakening dollar and inflation woes, right? The irresponsible spending, all this. Reasons why Bitcoin is so important, reasons why people should be buying and holding Bitcoin, starting to hit, I guess, right? Starting to make people think, yeah, this is actually correct. This is why we have Bitcoin and why it's so important. So yeah, it's fantastic. I know most of you guys know it, but it's still a bargain. Obviously, we're not even back to our all-time high yet, although we're very close to six figures once again. But all these big boys, institutions, notice all these headlines, right? The bullish headlines are actually from the institutions. They're not just from analysts anymore. They're not just from influencers. They're not just from people on social media. These are from the big institutions. Look at this. This is Fidelity, one of the largest asset managers with trillions under management, saying this. Bitcoin is still undervalued. even at $96,000. This is also positive, right? I mentioned about crypto conferences. Today is the first day of Token 2049. Some people are like, oh, nothing's going to get announced. This was one of the things that got announced. Eric Trump actually spoke and he revealed Trump's $1 billion Dubai real estate project, which will accept crypto payments. Okay. I think this is a pretty big deal. Not that, getting another real estate project is a big deal, but to have a major real estate project, right, to accept crypto payments, and especially with a Trump name, I think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal. This may set a trend with all future real estate projects or all commercial projects altogether in Dubai and elsewhere around the world, right? So I think this shows adoption, of course, is growing. And this is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. But as for overall, right, things are still looking good. Like I said, Bitcoin is seen as a store of value, right? You have a lot of corporate adoption these days. You could see the growth, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And just see the growth every single quarter. This is from corporate holdings. And the latest shows that corporate holders added over like 100,000 in the last quarter. And it's been growing rapidly each and every quarter. Right now, some of it, of course, a lot of it is from MicroStrategy, but a lot of it's from MetaPlanet and many others. A lot of it from miners. These guys will continue to load up and load up and load up and load up. And it's just a reminder that Bitcoin is scarce. Remember, just a few weeks ago, we were still in the 80s. Then we jumped up to the mid 80s. Then we jumped up to the low 90s. Then we jumped to the mid 90s, and now we're going up. Now we're hovering around the high 90s, right? So it's just a matter of time we crack that 100 figure once again. We're just like slowly ticking up, slowly ticking up. That's exactly what we want to see, right? This narrative, and I've been sharing with you guys, narrative of Bitcoin being a store of value, hedge against inflation, still holding true, despite we have some volatility. Like obviously recently we had bad GDP numbers that brought Bitcoin down suddenly, but we just came right back up, and that is fantastic. Also, something else to look forward to next week is a big FOMC meeting, right? On the 7th, we will have, well, it starts on the 6th, and then we'll have that big press conference that Powell always gives. Right now, there's like no chance, 3% chance that he's going to cut the Fed fund rate. There's basically zero chance it's going to happen. Of course, Trump and everyone else does want him to cut, but right now there's no chance. We will get some inflation readings soon, and if inflation shows that things are going up, there's like virtually no chance he's going to be cutting the Fed fund rate, right? And with the markets holding steady and possibly going up now, there's really no reason for him to cut. Unless the economy absolutely crashes or inflation starts going down, there's really no reason for him to cut. So we're kind of in that moment where, you know, he's like kind of stuck. And he said this before, right? So it'll be really interesting to see not what happens next week, but what happens next month, right? All eyes will be next week during that press conference. People are going to ask him some very tough questions, and we'll see if he remains dovish or hawkish.